What's going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG online video, where today we're going to be taking a look at our very first of the brand new Guardians Rising TCG decks, and we are going to be today talking about probably the most hyped up Pokemon attacker card in the set, and that is this Garbodor with the Trash-a-Lanche attack. Read it there, 20 damage. This attack does 20 damage for each item card in your opponent's discard pile. Our format right now is very heavily reliant on these item cards. So decks, playing upwards of 15 to 20 items, and this will let us hit for one-hit knockouts very easily on our opponent's Pokemon. Now, like I said, this is easily the most hyped up deck in this set. Not sure if it'll end up being like one of the dominating decks, but early on in this format, this is a deck you should definitely be prepared to play against. I know a lot of other YouTubers have already made videos on this deck, but I definitely did want to get my version of the deck out there. So we're going to go ahead and jump in, take a look, and see what Garbodor has to offer. The 120 HP Psychic type Stage 1 Pokemon, like we said, that Trash-a-Lanche attack. We do also have Acid Spray here, Psychic, double colorless, flip a coin if heads, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. We could use this, but we probably won't ever end up using it. Trash-a-Lanche will be the attack we're here for more often than not. We are also playing 4 of the Acid Spray Trubbish here from Breakpoint. There is a new Trubbish we could be playing from Guardians Rising with Stomp Off, discard the top card of your opponent's deck, which is pretty good, but I think overall you'd rather have the utility of having the Acid Spray, flip a coin if heads, discard an energy. Same attack as is on the Stage 1. We are also running as our kind of secondary attacker here, and honestly, kind of the attacker we'll use early on in the game is Drampa-GX here with Righteous Edge, Berserk, and Big Wheel. Righteous Edge, 20 damage, discard a special energy card from your opponent's active Pokemon. Berserk, 80 damage. If your benched Pokemon has any damage counters on them, this attack does 70 more damage. And Big Wheel GX, shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 10 cards. All of these 3 attacks we could definitely use on turn 1 if we go second. Big Wheel GX is a really solid option. If our opponent doesn't in us, then we have a lot of cards to work with on the next turn. And Berserk is very solid, lets us hit for 150 if we have any damage on the back, and we have ways to do that we'll talk about here in just a minute. Righteous Edge, of course, is a very good attack against these special energy reliant decks. Things like Decidueye, Vileplume especially, Righteous Edge can really put a hurting on those decks. We are also running 2 copies of the brand new Tapu Lele-GX. Now, I know I don't have my hyper rares yet. I'm out there trying to trade for them. They're very expensive right now. Trying to get a good deal if I can, but we'll work with the regular arts that we have right now. With the ability Wonder Tag, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, during your turn you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this allows us to play some kind of one of techie supporters that we can go search out with this ability on turn 1, turn 2, or just whenever we need it, and go that way. We also have Energy Drive here, 20 damage. This attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. This is also a very solid attack. Use our opponent's energy costs against them. We also have Choice Band that we can slap on Tapu Lele. We have Kukui. We can hit pretty hard with Energy Drive, not gonna lie. We also have Tapu GX, a GX attack we could potentially use if we don't use that Big Wheel GX. Heal all damage from 2 of your benched Pokemon. So if we want to heal up some Drampas that have taken damage early on, if we want to heal up like a Garbodor, but Garbodor only has 120 HP, so most likely it'll get knocked out. But Tapu GX is definitely something we have the ability to use, but like I said, Big Wheel GX is probably the one we'll end up using in this deck. We also have 2 copies of Shaymin-EX. It's just too good not to include. Just setup ability is still really good, even though we do have Wonder Tag out and about now. Setup is still just too good. So let's go ahead and expand it here. Take a look at the rest of the list and see what we have to work with. We're playing 2 copies of Escape Rope, gives us a little bit of switching utility. We do have, 2 retreat on Drampa. I believe Tapu Lele has 1 retreat, so just giving us a little switching. Garbodor has 3 retreat, but usually we'll be attacking with this. We don't need Floatstone in this deck. We're actually not playing one of the Garbotoxin Garbodor. We could be playing it, but I just really don't see the need for it right now. We'll see if we do end up needing it, but I just really don't think it's necessary. We already prize trade pretty well with things that are ability reliant, such as such as Volcanion. Not sure where Yveltal came from, but we already trade pretty favorably. Same thing with Rayquaza. We should be able to trade favorably with the Garbodors. We also have 2 copies of Field Blower here. Very good tool to get rid of Fighting Fury Belt, or very good to be able to discard tools such as Fighting Fury Belt in order to hit numbers on things like Darkrai EX, stuff like that. Also, a Berserk with a Choice Band will let us hit 180, which knocks out a Darkrai EX. Also, getting rid of tools like Experience Share, getting rid of Stadiums can be very good for us. We're playing 1 copy of Super Rod here to put back some energies or some Pokemon if we need to. 3 copies of Trainers Mail just to add a little bit of consistency. 4 copies of Ultra Ball to discard 2 cards from our hand. This is going to help us find those Pokemon we need, getting a Trubbish down turn 1, getting out our Tapu Lele, getting out our Shaymin, things like that. 4 VS Seekers to reuse any of our supporter cards. 3 copies of Team Magma's Secret Base. And this is the way that we're actually going to damage our own Pokemon so that the attack damage from Berserk is boosted. So when we, with Team Magma's Base, when we play a Pokemon, whenever any player puts a basic Pokemon except for Team Magma Pokemon on his or her bench, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So when we bench something like a Tapu Lele, when we bench another Drampa, when we bench a Trubbish, we can put 2 damage counters on it if we have the Magma base in play. And then Berserk will allow us to do the boosted extra 70 damage, which is very, very good. We're playing 1 copy of Delinquent. A potential strategy opponent could have is to just not play their item cards, but if we play Delinquent, we might force them to have to discard them, and that could also boost our damage in that way as well. 1 copy of Hex Maniac. Hex is still a very good supporter. Having Tapu Lele to get out the turn 1 Hex Maniac will shut down a lot of decks and really slow down our opponents. 2 copies of Lysandre, of course, which is a very good card. 2 copies of N, very good card. Shuffle draw in the beginning and have the ability to disrupt our opponent in the late game potentially. 1 copy of Professor Kukui. Just, lets us do a little bit more damage with the Trash Lance attack. Helps us to hit some numbers in certain scenarios for sure. 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, still the best draw supporter in the game. We're also playing 1 copy of Wally so that we can get off the turn 1 evolution into Garbodor so that we can potentially take a turn 1 knockout, and this is actually mostly going to be for the mirror match so that we can get ahead in the prize trade if we go second, since we normally are reliant on evolving in order to get going. I don't know, it's kind of like just a cool little tech that I'm trying out for now. I actually like Wally a lot. We are playing 4 copies of Choice Band. The reason I'm playing 4 is because Field Blower exists so people can get rid of our Choice Bands, and this tool is just so good. Being able to boost the damage of any of our attackers, Choice Band is super solid. 4 double colorless energies to attack with any of our Pokemon except for Garbodor. Of course, we could use Acid Spray, but really won't be doing that. And 6 psychic energies to round things out. That's the deck. Let's go ahead and hop onto the versus ladder, grab a game, and see how this one goes for us. Drampa Garbodor, definitely one of the most hyped decks, like I said. We'll see if it lives up to the hype. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, definitely be sure to leave a like down below. Helps me out a ton, lets me know you enjoy seeing what I'm doing. Also, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. I am going to be doing a ton of new decks for Guardians Rising in the coming weeks, coming days, all that stuff. You definitely want to make sure you stay tuned for that. I've got a ton of cool stuff coming up. So let's see if we can find an opponent and what kind of match we can get into here. Hopefully we'll have someone who's playing some of the new Sun and Moon cards. There could be someone out here who's still playing the old format, maybe for like a testing for like a League Cup this weekend or something like that. But it looks like we do get a game against Togedelix here, who is playing a Psychic Water Colorless deck. So this could be a Water Box deck with the new Aqua Patch, which is good for us since they play a lot of items in that deck, and Garbodor really likes to go against decks that play a lot of items. So we'll see what we get here. We do take a mulligan to start things off. We do take another mulligan here, it looks like. My opponent is going first, so that'll give us kind of an idea of what they're working with. We do get a Trubbish start and a Psychic Energy, so that is something there. We do have a Tapu Lele, so we've got some options that way. We do have the Wally in our hand and a Choice Band, so if our opponent goes off on the first turn and plays a ton of items, we could potentially take a turn 1 knockout for 2 prizes on Manaphy EX. In order to do that, he would only need to play, if he played 4 items, that lets us hit for 80 plus 110, so we would actually need him to play 5 items. If he plays 5 item cards, we can take a knockout on this Pokemon. And it looks like we see Blastoise and Mega Blastoise. Not a deck I was expecting to play against tonight, but you know, it is here. It is a thing. We'll see if he plays any item cards so that we can do some damage. If not, we might just Sycamore or something like that. So it looks like he doesn't play any items or anything like that, so we'll probably just end up Sycamoring here. But we'll go ahead and play the Trainer's Mail, see what we get. We do find an Ultra Ball, which could be good. I think I will go ahead and take the Ultra Ball. And I think I'm going to search out a Drampa with this. Drampa is very good early on. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to find a Drampa. We do have 2 Escape Ropes in the deck, so we can switch. We could Tapu Lele here for a supporter of some sort, but I think we're okay just Sycamoring. We do have 2 Magma's base, so we did prize 1. And we've got all of our energies. I think we prized a Sycamore, it looks like. Trying to see what else we might have prized. 2 Ultra Balls in the prizes, potentially. Okay. So also if we can get a turn 1 Field Blower, get rid of his Spirit Link, that would be very good. We know he has the Mega in his hand. So maybe we should end here, actually, knowing that. What do you guys think? Do you think we should end? We could end just because we know he has the Mega. And I'm kind of thinking we maybe should go for that. I don't know. He didn't play any cards, though. That's the thing. He also may have just not played cards because he knows the deck we're playing. We could also just get off a Lysandre on a Hoopa and force him to find a way to retreat it, like attach an energy there, and that just puts him really far behind. And then next turn we can maybe knock it out with a Garbodor. I actually don't hate that line of play. We do have a Sycamore in our hand for the next turn. I think we'll go with this. We do know this will let him get the Mega off. We can't dig for the Spirit Link, but this can let us get ahead early. He has to attach a Water Energy to this. He won't be able to attack with this if that's the case, unless he, in addition to attaching to the Hoopa and retreating it, gets off 2 Water Energies in the discard through like an Ultra Ball or something like that. So let's see what my opponent does here. There's a big X on his Spirit Link. That's kind of interesting. Here, let's look. Yeah, there's a big X for some reason, not sure why. And he's just going to Mega Evolve to end his turn, so he really doesn't have anything, it looks like. So we're just going to Sycamore. We do top deck an in, but we're just going to go with the Sycamore. Field Blower is not going to do much for us here. He hasn't played any items, so we don't do any damage with Trashalanche. I don't know what we could find here. We might just Big Wheel GX this turn, to be honest. Let's see if we can find a Magma base. We found a Kukui. So that's something. Yeah, I don't... Like, this lets him bring something else up, like his Mega Blastoise, but he's still, you know, he has to discard stuff in order to attack with it. He can't knock out our Drampa regardless. So we're just going to go in here. We could hit for 110, set up a 2-hit KO, and I kind of like that better than going for the Big Wheel. We do still get to do some damage with Berserk at least. We'll hold the Drampa just in case we top deck a Magma base. And I think here, if it loads, I think we are just going to go for a Berserk here. And this will do 110. If he doesn't play a Rough Seas or anything like that on the following turn, we will be able to take a KO with a followed up Berserk. So let's see what he does, see what he's able to make happen. He does get an in, so he does finally, I guess, top deck a supporter. He may not have played that because... I don't know. I feel like he must have top decked that. There's no way he wouldn't have played that if he had it. So we do get Garbodors. We do get some Trubbishes. We've gotten an in for the following turn as well. If he didn't get into Rough Seas, we will be able to knock this guy out. He could retreat it with Manaphy, which I would not hate. And that looks like what he's going to do. We unfortunately do only have 1 Lysandre. I noticed that when we looked through our deck. So we won't find a Lysandre here. Go ahead and get down another Garb. He has only played an in. That's the only card he's played. And I think we are just going to in ourselves. Put these Pokemon back. We don't want to bench them yet. I really want to draw into some combination of Magma base and Pokemon so we can take a knockout, but it looks like that didn't happen for us, unfortunately. And he's actually just going to concede there. I think we were in an okay position. We were going to get another attachment that turn. We were going to keep hitting the Hoopa. So I did like our positioning, but we'll go ahead and keep going here and see if we can grab another game. Not a deck I was expecting to play against tonight, but you know, when you play against Blastoise, you gotta consider all the options. We did make a kind of interesting play there with the Lysandre on the turn 1. I think it was okay though, just playing what we knew our opponent had. So another water deck here, Bashful Cucumber, I think. So he does have a Blastoise coin. Are we going to play against 2 Mega Blastoise decks in a row? Not what I would have expected, but it could be happening right now. I would have bet that this is going to be some sort of Water Toolbox deck utilizing the new Aqua Patch, but that's what I thought last time, and I was incorrect. So we'll have to see what happens. My opponent is going to get to go first, which means we won't be able to evolve, but we can get off the turn 1 Big Wheel GX potentially. And we do start with Drampa. And we have a Psychic Energy in our hand, so we could get those things going. But let's see if we can get an idea of what my opponent's playing. Greninja, it looks like, with Choice Band, Splash Energy, all kinds of interesting stuff here. Alright, so... Greninja. Good thing we have the Hex Maniac in our deck. This is a deck that I think a lot of people are expecting to come back here since Guardians Rising is legal now. So we'll have to see how we can play against it and what we can try to make happen. So we will take our card for our mulligan, get a VS Seeker, not bad. And he does start his Talonflame. So it looks like we're just going to see the energy attachment and an N. So no basics yet, but we don't really have a way to take a knockout unless he plays... He would have to play 7 items this turn for us to take a knockout, so I'm not expecting that by any means. Unfortunately, our hand is not that great. We do have a Magma base and a Trubbish, so we can get some damage down on the board so that we do extra damage with Berserk on the following turn, and then we can Big Wheel GX as well. He is going to get a Dive Ball going here. Going to grab out that Froakie, and we'll see if he can get off the turn 2 water duplicates. It'll depend on how strong his hand is. We don't have a way to knock out the Froakie turn 1, unfortunately, and just to pass onto our turn. Let's go ahead and play the Trainer's Mail, see if we can get a supporter. We do get a Sycamore. We don't know if we have Super Rod. I don't know that I really want to even play this, because we have to get rid of 2 Garbs if we do that. Getting rid of 2 Garbs seems pretty bad, so... Let's take it. Let me think here. He's got 5 cards in his hand. If we have Super Rod, I think it's okay to Sycamore here. So I think we will go ahead and just do it. I know it's risky. We also lose a VS Seeker. We could have just big wheeled there, but I want to get as many cards going as we can. Unfortunately, nothing really there going for us. We could Escape Rope and force up the Froakie so he can't Aero Blitz this coming turn. Don't necessarily hate that. We'll go ahead and put the Choice Bands down. They're going to be useless in this matchup, so if he Field Blowers them away, that's fine. We don't play any other tools, so we don't want to draw them. We could Shaymin set up for 2. We could Escape Rope and then set up for 3, but we don't really need anything else this turn. He could play a Kukui and knock us out with Aero Blade, or Aero Blitz if we Escape Rope. So I think I'm just going to go for the big wheel here. Yeah. And yep, we're going to use our GX attack. Sorry, I did have to re-download my game the other day. There was like some weird glitch and I couldn't get in, so I had to re-download it. So that's why all these notifications are popping up from time to time. We get a hand with 0 draw supporters in it, unfortunately, off of 10 cards. So he does have the water energy on the Froakie. Let's see if he has the Dive Ball or the Frogadier to get off this water duplicates. We do have the energy at least to knock him out with Berserk. We do have a Garbodor to evolve into. We see a Choice Band comes down on the Froakie. VS Seeker here, and we'll probably see the N. Sure enough, it looks like he's going to play that. So that's the thing about Berserk, or Big Wheel GX. If your opponent plays an N, kind of negates all of the things you did. But like we said, all we had going for us in that hand was the energy and the Garb. Maybe we were really relying on that Trainer's Mail. So hopefully we can get into a draw supporter here. We do find Tapu Lele. We do find Professor Sycamore. We do find a Garb once again, so this is a solid hand. We do have Super Rod to put back Garbodors. We can dig for the energy attachment to take the KO, and also inning here after he Aero Blitzes would be good, but he may just water duplicates. Let's see what he decides to do. And yep, sure enough, I think that's a very smart decision. Going to go ahead and use water duplicates. We will be able to knock this guy out. Let's see how many items he's used. 3, so we're hitting for 60 with Trashalanche. And looks like he did prize a Frogadier, or he drew one off of the N, unfortunately. So we can go ahead and put a Psychic Energy on Drampa, so we can take the knockout. Go ahead and evolve, of course. We could Ultra Ball away the Lele and the Shaymin for another Trubbish, Super Rod back the Garbs, and then Sycamore. Or Super Rod back the Garbs and like the Lele. Yeah, Lele is going to be better than Shaymin. Tapu Cure actually could... Oh, no, we can't use Tapu Cure, actually. Unfortunately. We'll go ahead and do this. Grab out a Trub. We could get another Drampa. I don't hate getting another Drampa, actually. Let's go ahead and get another Drampa. We want to attach to this guy on the following turn. We'll go ahead and Super Rod. We'll put back the Lele and the 2 Garbs, and then we'll Sycamore. So go ahead and get the Drampa down. We'll play the Professor Sycamore and draw 7 brand new cards. We get the Field Blower, which isn't going to do us good since we're taking a KO this turn. Don't really need to play anything else. We just hold the Trainer's Mail, I think, for the next turn, and we'll go with Berserk. And, yeah, do 150 damage. I almost said 180, but it is 150. Choice Band only boosts if we take knockouts on EX Pokemon or GX, or do damage to EX Pokemon or GX Pokemon. So hopefully next turn we can find an in with this Trainer's Mail if our opponent does choose to use the Aero Blitz attack this turn. But he's going to get a Dive Ball out, so let's see if he can get out a... how many Greninjas he can get out. That's really what this turn is going to be. How many Greninja breaks. We could also just Lysandre to keep him from getting out 2 Greninjas, which I think may almost be better than inning after the Aero Blitz. But he's going to in himself, so that takes away all of our decisions we have to make. We'll get to think again and look at a new hand and see what we can work with there. So we do get an energy for the next turn. We have Ultra Ball for Lele, which could get us Lysandre or an N, which we may want to N here. I'm debating whether it'd be better to take out the Greninja. We will have to bench a Lele here. Okay, so let's... How many items has he played? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're hitting for 100 with Trashalanche. Not enough to knock out a Greninja. Even if we got a Kukui, we wouldn't be able to knock him out. And we know we have the Kukui in the deck because we've seen it. Interesting choices. I think we're just going to discard the Magma base here. We've already got damage on 2 Pokemon. Doesn't matter if we get rid of these. We might as well, I suppose. We'll leave him just in case he plays like a random Tapu... Well, we know he doesn't play Lele, but he could play like a random Shaymin or something. We'll do this. Get our energy attachment. We'll go Ultra Ball for Lele, and I think we'll just play an N. We could grab a Lysandre with this, but then we have a dead hand. So 0 cards, obviously. So I think we just grab N, since he did Aero Blitz, and take a knockout. I don't know. Could have also grabbed Shaymin to dig for stuff, but we will just go this route. Grab the N. And we will play the N. And see what we draw here. We do get another Choice Band, another Lele. Nothing we really need, but we do have via Seeker to get another supporter on the next turn. We can play this just so we don't draw it if he does in us. And then Berserk, take the KO on the Talonflame. So at least we're able to continue to take KOs. We have Lele for Kukui so that we can knock out a Greninja Break, which would be good. And yeah, we need him to play some more items in order for Garbodor to really have an effect. But as you can see, Drampa, that's the kind of the idea with this deck is later on in the game, once he's played a lot of items, Trashalanche can come in and just do a ton of work. But for the time being, Berserk is putting in a lot of work on its own, that's for sure. Yeah, and I got rid of the Magma base. There's no reason to put any more damage on the Drampa if we don't have to. He does get a Silent Lab, which is pretty unfortunate. Keeps us from being able to Lele for Kukui. Let's see if he plays it down. Sure enough, it comes down. We do have 1 Field Blower left, and we also have 1 Magma base left, because we prized one, if I remember correctly. So he does get another energy here, so we might just see a... No, we do see a Choice Band, so Moonlight Slash would return the energy, hit for 110, and it looks like we might see an N. Yep, sure enough. We'll see if he can find the break, see if he can find another Greninja. If he can't find another break or another Greninja, we're going to be in a very, very good position. He's not going to be able to knock us out this turn unless he does get out a break and an energy. So there's the break. Let's see if he has the energy. We do have the Kukui in our hand, so that's something at least. Giant Water Shuriken, so let's see where he puts this. Does go on the active. Oh, that's really unfortunate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items. So we're hitting for 140 with Trashalanche. 40, 50, 60 with Kukui. So if we draw Field Blower, we can knock him out. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 140. Ugh. This is not a great spot. We could Righteous Edge and just discard the energy. And then if we top deck a DCE, then this works for us as well. So I think we'll go this route. We know he has the energy, but he can't knock this out next turn, so that's okay. He can't knock this out, so we'll discard the special energy. We do get a Lysandre as well. I don't think that's going to do as much good for us. We'll play the Kukui before we attach energy. So we do find a Ultra Ball, which this can get us another Trubbish. This can get us another Trubbish. Yeah, drawing Field Blower there would have been great. Or a DCE. Yeah, Field Blower, because then we can set up. But let's go ahead and just grab another Trubbish, I suppose. Well, I kind of want to hold the Lysandre, though. Maybe I shouldn't have played this Ultra Ball. We don't even really need another Trubbish, because we can still top deck a Field Blower to get rid of this Silent Lab, so Shaymin is still good. We want the Garbs. We know we have one left, though. We want the energy. Oh, in case he retreats. Yeah, I think we just get rid of the Lysandre, though. So yeah, we'll just do this. Grab Trubbish. We can go ahead and attach, and then in case we top deck another Psychic. But then the energy's kind of wasted. If he doesn't... If we don't top deck another Psychic, and then he KOs us on the following turn. So we'll just go ahead and Righteous Edge for 40, since we did play the Kukui. Discards the special energy, so gets rid of a Splash. We know he has at least one basic water in his hand, so we'll see if he does play it and where the Giant Water Shuriken damage goes. And now we actually will be able to knock him out with a Trashalanche due to that 40 damage. So here comes Giant Water Shuriken. We'll see if he has an energy in addition to this. He could put it on the Trubbish? No, he's just going to put it on the active. That makes the most sense, I think. He can't knock us out unless he plays a Professor Kukui, right? Because that's 110. 80 plus 30 is 110. Super Rod comes out. Yeah, we have a really not a great hand. We can hope to top deck Field Blower. We still have one Trainer's Mail left, I think. No, 2 Trainer's Mails left. But he's just going to Sycamore. Gets rid of Talonflame's in, and something else. Okay. So chose not to in us there. I guess he wants to draw more cards, too, since he would just give himself 4 cards. And we'll just see the Moonlight Slash. Let's see if he keeps the energy on. He's going to return it, knowing that we will just discard it with Righteous Edge, of course. And next turn we go down, unfortunately. But thankfully we top deck a VS Seeker, which is huge. And we are definitely just going to Sycamore here. Maybe we in, actually. I kind of don't hate inning, but we really need the DCE. Definitely evolve, but the question is, do we in or do we Sycamore? We really need to hit the DCE to take the KO this turn. Give him just 1 Greninja. Oh, he's got a huge hand. I think we do just need to play the Sycamore. We need to hit the DCE this turn. We need to take a knockout. So both our Shaymins are down. We don't hit the DCE, unfortunately. We can attach Retreat, though, at least. So I think we're going to do that. That does give him a Giant Water Shuriken KO. But we can knock him out with Garbodor. Yeah, and I'd rather attach Retreat than Escape Rope, I think. But this leaves us with just 1 energy in play. Yeah, I was about to attach that there. That would have been really bad. We'll do this. Should we play the Magma Base? I think we hold it. We'll retreat into Garbodor, so that way we can take our knockout. And now he's only got 1 Garbodor in play. So Trashalanche is hitting for 160. which knocks out a Greninja if he doesn't Break Evolve. We also have VS Seeker for Kukui. Delinquent is very good. We can limit his hand, and then that lets us use Tapu Lele, but we do also have Magma Base, of course, as well. So let's see what he does with this here. He does have the Break. If we can get Field Blower plus Psychic Energy on the next turn, we can knock out this Greninja with the Garbodor, and he'd be left with just a Froakie in play. Let's see if he has a Water Energy to knock out Drampa. That would be a good play from him as well. And we're going to see an Ace Trainer, so that's going to put us down to 3 cards. He's going to get 6. I wonder if he's taken his Frogadier yet off the prizes. We do get a Trainer's Mail, Magma Base, and a Sycamore, so all good cards to grab. He actually can't even knock out the Garbodor, which is really bad. I didn't even notice that. He cannot knock out the Garb. So he may just Shadow Stitching here. Wow, that's so bad. That's really bad. And how many... has he played more items now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is 180 damage. So we will be able to knock out Greninja. If I was him, I would have retreated into this Froakie, because if this Greninja goes down, he can't do anything. I didn't even... yeah, I totally forgot about the fact that we still have 100 HP, and he can only hit us for... he can only hit us for 80 damage. So, but he is going to take his knockout on to the Drampa on the bench, take 2 prizes, but this opens us up to being able to end him on this turn if we can find it off this VS, or this Trainer's Mail, if we can find like a VS Seeker or something. Let's see what he gets here with Dive Ball. What did he put back earlier? A Frogadier, I think, but he's going to get a Greninja Break. I guess since he knows he's getting all this stuff back with the Splash Energy, if we take the KO, I think if you're my opponent, you have to go for the Shadow Stitching here or the Retreat, so that's the best play probably. So if we can find Lysandre here or Ultra Ball, either one of those would be pretty devastating. We do find Lysandre, very, very nice. So we can Lysandre, bring up the Greninja, take a KO. That is really big. We get another Psychic Energy, so we have an attachment for the turn. Bring up Greninja Break. We'll go ahead and play the Magma Base. We do have a Field Blower left, so we can still discard it if he plays another Silent Lab, and we just don't want to draw it if he ends us this turn. And then we will trash a Lanch for the KO. We didn't get to end him there, but we do get to take a knockout. 220 damage. You guys can see why this card is very good later on in the game here. He does get all of those cards back, but at this point, it's going to be tough for him to do anything. It's going to be a couple of turns for him to get out another Greninja. If he plays Rare Candy, he can maybe make something happen, but as we see, he just goes right up into Frogadier there. We do see the Splash Energy come out. We're going to take a knockout this turn, and my opponent will not be able to take 2 prizes. Actually, he doesn't even have any more Frogadiers left, and that's going to be the game right there. Getting 2 victories today in the video with Garbodor Drampa. Very interesting deck. I like this deck a lot. Definitely a deck I'm going to take to some League Cups around my area. I've got a local box tournament this weekend. I think I might take this deck there. I like it a lot. I think it's very, very strong. And, yeah, hope we got to show that off a little bit today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of this deck down below. Do you like Garbodor Drampa? Do you like what do you think of Garbodor? Very strong card. Let me know what you guys think. That's going to do it for this video. You can follow me on Twitter at TrainerChip, Twitch as well. I'll be streaming a lot this week, doing some Guardians Rising deck testing and things like that. That's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, take care.